safe. Choose we can participate. No, that's good. I think we're live. Yes, we're live. Now, how do we see the chat?
No.
Ah, there it is. Chat viewing options. This is funny. I think we're live, but we can't see what the people are saying.
I know, right?
Hold on, maybe it's here.
Hey, Tina. Welcome, welcome. We'll get started in a minute.
Kelly. I see it.
Aloha.
We're trying to figure it out, Kelly. We just went on. Oh, okay. At least now I'm calm. Before we were trying to figure out.
You would think that we would have this under control after doing it.
Yeah, but never live. Who's
No.
that? Roman.
No.
We're gonna
Hey,
before
Frank.
we start, we're just gonna say hello to some people.
We're
Do you
gonna-
guys hear as well?
Let us know you
Frank.
can hear us. Okay, give us a thumbs up in the chat. And then we'll give an introduction while everybody's kind of joining the room.
Ooh, and look at this. It was meant for us. The sun is
know.
starting to set in. It was about to rain.
It was cloudy all day.
It was cloudy, like cloudy, gray cloudy, and I was thinking either cold front or rain, but either one of the two is not going to be comfortable.
Yep.
But look,
But we do have blue skies showing,
we do have
so
now.
that's nice.
So we're going to wait for some people to show up, so that way we can give people, more of an opportunity for the Q&A.
And if you guys here see me looking over here, is because I have my Facebook Live going on and corresponding with Nelson's.
Hey,
YouTube.
Germany. That disappeared quick. I don't want it to disappear because that way I can read it. Paul's for you. Oh, that's Teresita. Teresita, how are you? Aloha. I wonder why it disappears. I would like it to kind of stay there so that way we can see. Good. I'm glad you hear us. Canada, how cold is it over there? I could imagine. Because we were sweating a little while ago. We just had coffee.
It was 45 degrees in Jacksonville when I left this morning. So I had to turn the heaters on.
45?
Yeah, it was chilly. Chilly.
I see that Teresita says everybody hears as well.
Hey, Sue.
Hi, Sue. Central Florida. I'll be there. I'll be there this Sunday. I'll be in Ocala, Mount Dora, and Apopka.
Ah, Louise.
Sydney,
From
Australia. My Aussies. I love my Aussie people. They are so supportive. You guys, on my chart, on my analytics, I usually can see the countries that are kind of like mostly viewing, and Australia is usually second or third next to Jamaica, Philippines. So I really appreciate you guys. What was that?
Caro, 0 degrees.
0 degrees? Woo-hoo.
Oh, sun in Canada.
Oh yeah, Oahu. I'll be there next year.
Yeah,
Chicago,
yeah.
hi, Faye.
It's perfect in Oahu, huh? And you guys probably have 6-foot waves offshore too, huh? Make me really jealous.
They have snow now in the caps. Can you believe that? I just read it today.
Really?
I think in their what do you call that? Like the one in LA, observatory.
Oh,
On top
wow.
of a mountain, it was like, see? Yes. What is it? An observatory in Hawaii, up in the mountains? So that's what it looked like when
What's
I saw
up, Jim?
Orlando. Hi, Luke. I'll be there. I'll be close to Orlando.
I was just there last weekend.
I love Orlando. I used to go like almost every weekend for 2 years. I had friends that lived there, and so I was always traveling over there. They worked for Disney, so of course.
So you were spoiled.
I was spoiled. I did a lot of Disney parks. Atop Maluna, that's it.
Okay.
Minus 8 degrees at my house in Canada. So Nelson, is that pink cattleya king of Taiwan? The pink cattleya.
What do you have back here?
I don't see a pink cattleya back here.
These are phals and vandas.
Yeah. I decided to do a little Christmas decoration, make it special for you guys. Mauna Kea. Mauna Kea. Is that how you say it? Is it Kea
Mauna Kea.
or is it Kia? Like the car. How's your Facebook?
Doing good. You have a lot more followers than me, but that's okay.
I'll share.
Nice.
Trinidad in the West Indies. Got friends over there. I studied with some friends. I studied in an international art school, so I made a lot of friends from all over the world, but the people who I stuck around with the most were all the Caribbeans. It's kind of, I guess, like-minded, so we're always hanging out at the dorms, and I have really good friends in Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica, Turks and Caicos, where else? Virgin Islands. I actually lived in the Virgin Islands for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Last time we bought pot from you, Josh, at Pam. Your final.
Ah, perfect. Yeah, she's back home in Brazil right now, but hopefully she'll be back soon. Hosanna.
No, it won't rain. I don't put that out there in the unit. It's gonna be perfect day tomorrow, just like today. See, perfect. It turned out. It was gray all day, and as soon as we clicked the button live,
The sun came out.
The sun came out, and it was live, so you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see that really happened that way.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's get started.
I feel like I'm having like whiplash to that. I'm
That's
looking
okay.
over there. I'm looking here.
No, that's fine.
All right, so I think we're gonna get started. It's 6 minutes in. Perfect.
If I don't.
So, whatever questions you guys have, please, you can ask Josh, you can ask me. It's an open forum, so go for it. Let's see who has the first question.
And yes, I do ship to Hawaii. So you can order online. It automatically does calculate shipping for you.
You know, a lot of people don't ship to Hawaii, which is weird, or California from Hawaii.
I
which
ship
is
my
weird.
pottery to Hawaii. I can't ship plants to Hawaii.
Okay.
So Hawaii, California, and Nevada, of all places, are places that we can't really ship plants into just because of their agricultural restrictions. But I can ship my pottery there.
Oh.
So I ship my pottery all over the U.S. And I'm hoping next year to open up international shipping as well.
My pink. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, that one I bought without a tag. And it's actually, I was just showing it to him. I'm like, I caught it right on time because literally today it was already wilting. So unfortunately, I can't bring her here to show because she doesn't look too pretty. But I don't know the name of that. Somebody did give me a name. Was it you who gave me the name in one of the comments? I always take a picture when you guys give me the name of something I don't know, and then I keep it there. So when I do the next video or I talk about the flower again, I give the person a shout out. So I don't know who exactly told me the name, but I do have it there. I have an agricum crestwood. Yep. What problems do you have? They're
and
finicky.
I think yours has
It's
a spiking.
It has two spikes.
Mine has a spike in the greenhouse also.
King of Taiwan is the Cattleya. I think that's actually the name. King of Taiwan. I think you're.
That's a nice flower.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more
and it
like
smells sweet, not floral,
Mm-hmm.
which I really liked a lot.
And it's got that like sunset and the labellum. I call it the sunset colors because it looks like a miniature sunset.
Yeah. It's really
and
pretty.
probably a lot of Dowiana in that.
What does that say?
The Dendrobium harveyanum. No, you
No.
can ask questions about any orchid culture.
Hey, you.
And we'll even talk about like different kinds of shade cloth as well. With Dendrobium harveyanum, I believe that's what it was. It's one of those that I grow it in sphagnum moss, and then I don't let it dry out fully, but I grow it like with my Phalaenopsis. And so I had that problem before. If it's a very young plant, when you get those really, really tiny new growths coming out, they're really susceptible to rot because they kind of have that tulip kind of opening. and so water can get in there and rot them out. So if you let them dry out a little bit more between waterings, and that's why I grow them in more water retentive kind of media, then you won't have that issue, and until it's a larger growing growth, and then you won't have that issue anymore.
You think it's cool? So do I. I don't know how you guys are seeing it on the other side. It looks really, really clear here and on your Facebook.
It looks really nice in the
Yeah,
background.
the background looks really. It's like a morning show.
Look,
We're keeping it green.
we're yeah, and that's why I wore my green shirt.
Frank! Frank is on a road trip, by the way.
Hey, buddy.
He's on a road trip. Sandra says, thank you. Hi. Oh, Nuri's just saying hi to Kelly. They're all friends. We're all one big happy family. On US 27. Oh, okay. You guys, you're going to be in Central Florida, I believe. He's going to be close to where I'm going.
Barbecue and blues.
Hey,
Oh man,
how are
that
you?
sounds like a. I used to play a barbecue and blues in St. Augustine. It was called Rhythm and Ribs,
Panhandle.
and I play saxophone. So random knowledge you guys probably didn't
Fun fact.
need to know. Yeah.
Nudie, you like the arrangement? It was
And,
last minute.
So another question people ask a lot is, what kind of shade cloth do I need to use? Oh, you got the real Rhythm and Ribs, or I mean barbecue and blues.
Thanks,
yeah.
Frank.
But people always ask about shade cloth, and so I always advocate. I tend to grow bright.
No, keep going. I'm just trying
And,
to, because it keeps, somebody asked you another question, it just disappeared. So I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm just trying to find a way to
That's
keep,
fine. I'll continue.
because your comments come in, and try not to make them so long because they kind of like just vanish. So it's hard for us to read the whole thing before.
That's why you see us squinting and
Yeah, squinting and like
and
we're
getting
trying to
closer.
answer.
We're trying to read. But shade cloth, I grow with 50% shade cloth. You can also get the frosted. It's basically UV rated plastic, greenhouse plastic. That's about 50% as well. But in the summer, I add on an extra 35%, which does not make it 85%. It's more like 65%.
Oh, really?
And it's still very bright in my greenhouse. I mean, I can still see like good shadows. It's about like 25 to 3,000 foot
Is
candles.
yours screened or is yours flooded light? Is it like that disperse, or is it like mine?
No, it's just, it's like this, but I have clear plastic on top,
Okay.
and then I have the 50% shade cloth on top of that, and the 35.
Okay.
Because right now, since the sun isn't really like super bright and
Right, you
harsh,
need it.
I take the 35% off so I can get a little bit of extra
I
boost.
thought about doing that here too. That's why I was
Yeah.
asking you, because I was thinking about putting a flooded fabric so that way, and I could control the rain too when it comes here, because sometimes it rains so much here that it starts yellowing some of my leaves and it starts getting a little
Yep.
bit.
And then you have to worry more about fungus and bacterial issues.
Somebody asked that they got a Dendrobium nobile and they have no idea how to grow it.
Dendrobium nobile. So this is Dendrobium. Dendrobium has many different sections. And so there's a section of Dendrobium called actually Dendrobium. So it's Dendrobium, which is very confusing. And Dendrobium nobile needs a cooler winter rest. I usually leave mine out to where it gets, I try to leave it like we're at low 40s for about a week.
Oh, really? That low?
Yeah. And some people go even lower.
To shock it?
Because it needs that cooler winter rest in order to initiate flowering in the
That's why
springtime.
I just look, because I have mine there, and now that you say that, that's exactly when it blooms.
Yeah.
It blooms once we have those little spikes.
Like nobles, anosmums, parishii, even aggregatums, which is now called Lindleyi, all need
Everything keeps
a
changing
drier.
names.
Yeah. But it's okay to use synonyms, so that's a good thing. A lot of people, and of course, think about winter. We're not getting as much rain in the winter, so draw back your watering. And a lot of times I'll just let Mother Nature take care of the noblies and everything else. And then in the springtime, now if it's going to freeze, obviously bring it in. But usually like 38 and above should be fine.
I heard that to shock something into spiking it, you should have at least, I think, a 20-degree in temperature drop, with especially with fowls. Is that true?
I believe so.
Because I heard it recently, and I was like, that's interesting, because you never know what is the measurement of how cold does it need to get before it could actually spike or destroy your plant.
Right. But then also, like with fowls, you really don't want them to get like, if you're growing at 60 degrees at night, you don't want them to get like 40.
Right.
So I always err on the side of a little bit warmer. For the cool growers, 40 to 50 is fine. But even
What are usually the cool growers? Like the Dendrobiums?
the noblies, anything that needs a cool winter rest, like the Dendrobium section of Dendrobiums, the Anosmums parishii.
Phalaenopsis. I find that they really like the cold weather. For some reason, look how they're spiking now.
No, those are the hard canes, the hard cane Dendrobiums, the Phalaenopsis Dendrobiums.
Yes, the moth flower, they call them?
Oh, those are your regular Phalaenopsis.
The
Yeah.
regular.
Yeah, they'll do fine with a
I didn't realize I was out of the frame.
temperature drop.
I just noticed I was like somewhere out of the frame. Sorry, guys.
But yeah, in Hawaii, actually, what they'll load up a big box truck, drive for the noblies, Dendrobium noblies, drive it up to the top of the mountain and open the doors, and just because it's a dramatic difference in what they've been growing at sea level to the top of the mountain, and they'll leave them there for a week, bring them back down, and they'll start
I
flowering.
just heard that from Kelly, Orchids in Paradise. She posted a video on the talk. I can't remember. What's the name of the gentleman that spoke, Kelly, at your Orchid Society? He said that. He says that there's certain areas in Hawaii that the nurseries, like the orchid nurseries, they strategically put them up there because of that shift in temperature, and it causes those flowers to do better and bloom all the time. So that's cool that you said that, because I literally just heard that.
Even like Sarasota area, and here, I see them mounted on trees and everything, because they are more cool tolerant than most of your hard cane Dendrobiums. Your spatulata section of Dendrobiums are not very, they're very temperamental. They need to be, I keep mine above 60. Otherwise, all your hard cane Dendrobiums, otherwise they'll drop their leaves. And then you're left with a
Really?
bunch of twigs. They won't die.
I'm learning
They'll
today
still
a lot.
flower.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm learning. I'm going to take notes I should be taking notes, actually. That's why I brought my little pad.
Same with, someone asked about Dendrobium speciosum, which is an Australian native Dendrobium. And those have like hard, like super hard leathery leaves. And I leave mine outside year round. I've read in studies that they can even tolerate like frost.
Really?
Yes.
What about, I just got...
And I'm in Jacksonville, and so I've let
Yeah,
them...
you guys get a lot colder
I've
than we
let
do
them
there.
outside year-round for the last 2 years, and they're going...
You get snow up there,
getting
don't you, sometimes?
Flurries.
Flurries?
But yeah, that's more like inland, like towards the airport in Jacksonville.
I just got a Dendrobium spectabil, and I have it in the quick tent. So far, she looks amazing, but I know that they can be a little finicky, so...
They're a Latori type Dendrobium, so they can go a little bit cooler, like into the 50s, and they will grow a little bit in like more lower light, and their roots are a little bit more fine, so they can tolerate a little bit. You don't need to let them dry out between waterings like your regular hard cane Dendrobiums and your Cattleyas.
Because I noticed that I put it in the quick tent, and for you guys who have the spectabil, I know you have asked me questions on that before. I put it on my quick tent, and I water it every day. I was a little bit afraid at first, but she's loving it. A little bit less light than the other ones. And the reason I'm asking you this is because sometimes we think, okay, all the orchids are going to do well at a specific temperature. But I asked that because I have lost, orchids that I really, really like. And I'm like, why is it that all these other dendrobiums did well, but these 2 or 3 didn't do well? And I noticed that some of them do like cooler weather or don't stand cooler weather. And I didn't know if that spectacle, you can keep it out here because we're going to get some cold fronts here.
Yeah, no, I keep my spectabile
Spectabile.
in closer to my phalaenopsis, and mine's actually spiking.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just looked yesterday, and
mine is green.
got 2 spikes.
Mine is very green.
Yeah, yeah.
I was actually going to run and get it, but I don't want to leave the show.
Tina does what need a rest. The specuosum, the culture on specuosum, yeah, in winter, I cut back watering on everything,
guys.
and when you guys have the plant metabolism slows down in winter when it gets colder, and so everything watering kind of ceases to exist more in the winter. And so that's why a winter rest doesn't mean stop watering, but it means cut back significantly. So think about plants in tropical locations, or even where you are, it rains significantly less in the winter months than in the monsoon season, like spring and summer. But I leave mine in Jacksonville. I leave mine outside year round. It's in a shady area, and I feel like I looked at it yesterday, and I'm like, oh man, it looks like it's about to go gangbusters with like probably 20 spikes.
Ooh.
And because we had that cold front like a few weeks ago, and then it's been warm ever since. And now we're starting to get, so I'm wondering if I need to move it into the greenhouse so those spikes don't terminate. So we'll see.
Now, somebody asked, which is the dendrobium that likes to be in the cool, I guess the least, the ones that prefer more tropical than cool weather?
The least cold tolerant. Any of your hard cane dendrobiums. Your hard cane dendrobiums like to be warm year round. A lot of all your spatulata section originate in Papua New Guinea, Malaysia, Indonesia. So you're right on that. You're between the Tropic of Cancer and the equator. So it's going to be very warm there. And so anything above that. As for cool growers, Cuthbertsonii is a cool grower. Off the top of my head, there's not a lot of cool growing dendrobiums. Some can tolerate the cold, but they're not specifically like you have to grow them in AC for them to thrive, besides Cuthbertsonii.
Someone asked, do you keep other dendrobiums out all year round besides that one you talked about?
No, that's the only, specuosum's the only, because it's an Australian dendrobium, and the leaves are like super hard, so they're not like flimsy or anything.
Papery,
they are
like the anosmum.
you could probably stab someone with it and it would hurt. It's just hard. Sure.
So was Trish. I'm writing them down because it goes so fast that I'm just kind of like shorthanding it. That way we don't miss out on your questions. It's not that we're being rude. It's just that I was trying to figure out a way for it to stay, but it just does. It vanishes after like a couple of seconds.
Yep.
See, Facebook doesn't do that.
Facebook stays there.
Hi, Facebook people.
I get you. I love the background.
Right?
It looks awesome.
It's like the morning show, only in the afternoon.
Oh! Indoor dendrobiums, susceptible to
spider mites?
False spider mites.
Oh, really? Because mine have gotten it indoors at the salon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's that webby kind of sticky stuff.
It depends what kind of dendrobium it is. If it's a hard cane dendrobium, hey, Hosanna. If it's a hard cane dendrobium, they're not really susceptible to spider mites.
We're outdoors.
Hey, Michael. Now, some of like the finer leaves, like Phaeus, these aren't dendrobiums, but like Phaeus or even the Peristeria.
They're right they're all next to you.
They have really, really like I call them elegant leaves, but they're very susceptible because they stay moist because there's a lot of terrestrial orchids stay more moist because they have like a canopy
You can grab one
that
if you want
that
to show it. It's
covers.
right next to you.
Yeah.
That's a Fias. I think that's the Oktoberfest.
So this guy here.
Yeah.
So these guys have finer leaves, and so they're more susceptible to like spider mites. And
You know what? My peristeria. Look how she
Yes.
looks. I didn't realize it the other day because we've had rains at night. And apparently that caused it to get, and it had all the furry white. And if I had to spray it, the other leaves are doing good, but see, does it still have it?
no, yep, that's more scale.
Yeah. And I've sprayed it with orthene, which is like the heavy stuff, but
Remember, with scale though, you have to disrupt the whole life cycle. So you have to spray once a week for 3 weeks.
oh, really?
Yes, in order to control.
Well, I have sprayed more than once, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't do it only once. I do it like once every 4 days.
And another really good chemical I had when I first started collecting. I had a bad infestation in my first greenhouse, and I tried orthene. I tried some other like the Bayer 3-in-1. I found Safari, and it's more expensive, but it's like more of a souped up orthene. And I sprayed.
Is it stinky? Is it like
It's not as stinky as orthene.
Okay.
Orthene is way more stinky.
Because I sprayed today. I don't know if you can smell it. The hibiscus. We've had a little bug here that loves hibiscus. It's been eating all the leaves.
But yeah, spray
Awesome. Thank you,
three
Sandra.
weeks in a row, once a week for 3 weeks in a row. But for spider mites tend to dwell when it's more of a like not cooler atmosphere, but more wet. And remember, spider mites isn't an insect; they're arachnoid.
Really?
They're a spider.
So it's an actual arachnus.
Yes. And so regular like insecticides won't touch spider mites. Oh. And so that's why
You know what
you
will?
need what will?
Sponsor? No, I'm not. They don't sponsor me. Sponsored by Sivan. No, it's spray that I buy. You can actually spray on vegetables, and you get it anywhere. Lowe's and Home Depot. It's
the
called
Seven?
I think it's Siven, or is it Sevin?
Yeah.
7, I think.
Yeah,
It is.
Seven's good. Anything with I went on to
It is non-toxic, which I
do
like.
it yourself pest control, and got something called abamectin, and it's like
Where, at Home Depot?
no,
Oh,
do
okay.
it like do it yourself pesticides.com or whatever. And so that's one of the active ingredients in Avid, but Avid's like $200 for a small bottle, and so this was more reasonable. And this abamectin is also an insecticide, so I'll stop using like orthene, so that way like any of your critters don't get used to it.
Right.
And
That I
and
do know,
mutate.
because the guys at Ophi's, which, by the way, guys, we will be there tomorrow. If you
Yes.
guys are in Miami and you want to go to an awesome orchid show, hi, France. Love you guys. You guys are doing great
Hey,
at the World
Aisha.
Cup. Doing really good. Amazing performance by the French team. They're playing very well. My Dendrobium grows best sitting in clay saucer with a little water. Do you have experience with them? Okay, we'll answer that. Let me just talk about Ophi's real quick,
And then we'll get to you, Anna.
and then we'll get to Anna. Hi, Anna. Tomorrow, it's what? December, I'm lost in the day, 17th?
17th.
Saturday and Sunday, the 18th, Ophi's is having an amazing show. They have how many? 13 vendors?
Yeah, this is like I think one of the largest ones
It
we've
is.
done.
It's pretty.
And
it's
we
pretty
have
big.
gangbusters for vendors. And I'm not saying just because I'm there. Like I'm a collector still too, so
He's there with benefits. But tomorrow I'm actually gonna go, even though I thought I wasn't gonna go, but I took the day off. Why not? I work very hard, so I'm giving myself that treat. That way I can hang out with Josh and all the other vendors who I love so much to hang out and talk. So I have a full day of fun tomorrow. So if you guys want to go and share that fun with me, come right ahead.
Yep.
It opens at what, 8 o'clock or 9?
9.
9 o'clock. So they're opening at 9 and it closes at 5 or 4?
I think it's 9 to 4 tomorrow, and then 10 to 3 on Sunday.
Okay. And they have major, it's Crowell Smith, Orchids in Bloom. Well, you.
I'll be there. The Orchid Den, in case a lot of you guys don't know who I am.
The Orchid Den, yes. And you should see his clay work. As a matter of fact, I'm drinking from one. This is my mug. There's another one. And they're great. And this is what I love. See underneath? He goes all the way through the detail of stamping his logo, which I love that.
Yep.
So if you guys want to see, I don't have anything on this side. All your stuff is hanging over there.
That's okay. That's okay.
I would have shown you guys, for you guys that haven't seen his work, but
you can go on my Facebook. I'll be doing a Facebook Live tomorrow morning and going through different vendors and showing you guys and
Awesome.
enticing you to come out. Sierra Madre is there,
Sierra
Judelas.
Ecuagenera, are they there? I thought I saw
No,
them.
they were there.
No, they were there last
weekend.
That's right.
Gemini Orchids will be there.
It's got amazing catasetas.
Who else? And
can't
then
think off the top.
some other.
Lady Vanda?
Is she there?
I think so. I think I saw the name on the card.
I hope so.
I
My
think I saw
friend.
it. Lady Vanda, Mr.
Yeah.
Vanda, plus one.
Baby
plus,
Vanda.
But plus baby Vanda.
And Doggy Vanda now.
Orchid 365. That's right, Orchid 365.
Orchids 365. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Roxy. Well, where is Roxy? Nuri's was the one that gave her the shout out.
Okay, so
Nicole, hi, live and
Anna has a question about thrips. Thrips, thrips are horrible, man. Especially in blooming season, in spring and fall and summer. But if you have any kind of thrip issues, my suggestion is, I mean, even if you use a systemic like orthene, they're gonna come back again. They can be back like 2 weeks later.
When
Only
I get thrips, I spray periodically, like every 3-4 days.
and they're so minute that they can even get through like your pool screen,
Yeah, they're
anything
nasty.
tight, and they'll actually get into like your buds while they're forming. And hey Jody, welcome. They'll get into your buds while they're forming and start like tunneling around in there, and then when the flower opens, you're like, darn it. So sometimes I'm spraying for thrips like twice a week in blooming season.
Twice a week?
Twice a week. But usually I do a monthly spraying.
I'm looking because I don't have. I did get a couple recently. Look at that. Always get tons of visual information when you are there filming. Oh,
Good, Tina.
that's awesome. I had one that I was spraying the other day, a Dendrobium, as a matter of fact, and it only gave me 3 flowers because it was a
Yeah.
cutting or a cakey.
Yeah.
And I put it on a baby mount, and literally that one gave me a spike,
But
and it got thrifts.
a lot of people will also think that it's virus when it's just thrip issues, because
Right,
it
right.
almost looks like sometimes it
When they
can
come out
mimic
gnarly,
color
yeah.
break when they've been in
That's
there
what I
gnawing
thought I
on.
had on my Cattleya.
Yeah.
I had the same, and Julian over at Crowell Smith, he was the one that said, no, that looks more like a thrift bite or a bug bite.
Yep.
It'll come out
So
gnarly.
thrips are gnarly.
I'm using my phone.
Yeah, we're both using our phone. Thrips are gnarly. The only way you're gonna there's been this kill juice stuff.
7 has worked for me, to tell you the truth. You just have
Oh,
to
I
hit it a
bel-
lot more.
Yeah, I think 7 is fine. But 7's I don't think 7's a systemic. I think it's just a contact. I'm not sure.
No,
don't quote me on
no,
that.
I think you're right.
Don't
It
quote
is.
me on that, but I know the orthene and safari and some of the more chemicals are more, and they can prevent them, but it's best to spray when you see them.
Yeah, it's
or
very painful.
even like when you have like buds just coming out of the sheath, go ahead and spray your collection then, and then that way you're not having any issues.
Oh yeah, once I see thrips in one plant or in one orchid, everything else that's budding around it gets sprayed.
Yep.
I'm not gonna risk it.
Yep.
Don't just do it on that one. In the salon, I have a couple of orchids, and when I've gotten thrips, I can't really be spraying anything toxic over there. So I've used 7, and it has worked perfectly. Kill juice.
Kill juice. It's like a concoction of 409,
Come here. Come here. Come here,
water, and
come say hi to your
something
fans.
else.
He's always around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Look, you're live on YouTube,
Guys,
Baba.
also, if you have a question that we kind of missed because it disappeared from us, go ahead and ask it again.
And make sure, like I said, I'm not trying to be mean. Mean.
Alcohol. Thanks, Jen. That's 409 alcohol and water,
Peroxide?
I believe.
Is that what you're talking about?
The kill juice.
Oh, the kill juice.
Yeah.
If you guys ask something too long, it doesn't give us enough time to read it. It vanishes. I try to figure something out. I'm going to ask around if there's a way to keep the questions there. But if you ask, like Nicole, I saw that in a couple of messages. I think you left a message, and I was trying to read something about the temperatures, that it's warm all year round, but I didn't get to read the rest of the other stuff. So if you want to re-ask that question.
I feel like I need a booster seat with you.
I'm just tall. Everybody feels short next to me. I'm the one that's always like, when we take pictures out there and we're meeting people, I always feel like I'm like this tower. So I feel bad, and I'm always like, when I take pictures, I squat like this.
Hunched over. Thanks, Sabrina.
Thank
You're
you,
awesome
Sabrina.
too.
See, if you notice over there, you can see what I'm doing. I'm slouching,
Yeah.
so we.
Well, the difference
if I-
between YouTube and Facebook is Facebook, you have to have it going vertical, and YouTube wants it horizontal. So different platforms, and
And this is great. We've only gone half hour, so it feels it has. It's. I wanted to do an hour show, so I am very relaxed. It's not as
kill sauce, 2 parts water, 1 part alcohol, 1 part 409, or Murphy's oil.
soap. Yeah.
Gosh, I use Murphy's for even with my pottery, from my plaster,
For your-
making my plaster molds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I use it on my
because
hair.
it's like
See how it keeps it all shiny and back,
it smells good.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's why people are always like, "What are you wearing?" I go, "Murphy's oil." I've never watched a live.
Oh,
shot
thanks,
before.
Rachel.
This is fantastic. Thank you.
We're
Well-
just having fun.
Well, I've never done a live shot. He does. He does it on Facebook.
I do Facebook Lives when I do shows, just to kind of entice people to come, kind of give like my picks and my favorite flowers that's at the show, and you know,
It's fun. It's nice because we get to.
Facebook and YouTube are such a great platform.
I love it.
It's free marketing, but also it's a great tool, especially like in our industry, because I love to educate, and like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I'm too old to be on
So,
TikTok.
are you a certified professor from the University of YouTube?
No, I have a PhD in YouTube though. I've learned so much stuff from you. When I was a contractor, I was like, if I didn't know how to do something, of course I'm not a contractor anymore, so don't worry, guys. If I didn't know how to do something, I would look it up, and I'd be like, oh, throwing tile's easy.
Listen, Lewis, a lot of the stuff he's built here has been through the University of YouTube. He loves YouTube.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't use any rooting hormone. In the winter, things are pretty dormant, so you don't want to like give it too many things. What I've been doing lately is just once a month do a full dosage of 20-20-20, and that's it. And the ones I mostly give it to is my bulbophyllums. I know that they do like it much more than, and the vandas. Vandas love to be fed when they're free rooted, right?
Yeah.
Because if you
Yeah.
have a vanda like a medium, which not many people do keep them, but there are people who do, I wouldn't be feeding it as much. But I do feed. I have a Vendop right here. Look, I don't have to go too far. This is a Vendopsis parishii. And this one has, see, now I can edit the photo of the flower. That's a wrong.
Paste it on my face.
So look, go click. So here is actually the flower. To get this to bloom, and Teresita gave me this. When I first started, I think the first year I started doing
See you tomorrow, Anna. Have a good night.
And to get it to bloom, you have to feed it every 4 days, full dosage, 20. I thought I was going to kill it at first, but I follow Lady Vanda's.
And you've got another spike coming out on the other side. Look at there.
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
2 spikes. It's been the 2 spike season.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I got to get up. I don't want to drop this. But anyway, to get this one to spike, you have to feed it. You do have to feed it quite often. And it doesn't kill the Vanda. For some reason, they can handle it. What about Dendrobiums? Do you feed them a lot? Or?
I cut back feeding in winter just because plant metabolisms are slowing down. You're not watering as much,
Right.
so then so you have like auxins and cytokinins. Cytokinins bring nutrients from root to plant tissue.
Okay.
And so when you're not watering those roots, they kind of get locked when your roots are drying out between. And so there's less mobility within the root. And of course you're watering less. And so I cut back fertilizing from like once a week religiously to like every other week or once a month.
Okay.
It really depends on what's in flower in the greenhouse, because that was another topic. Is
feeding on what?
feeding when you have your plants in flower. Hey,
Hi there.
BK. So I cut back. I cut back my fertilizer like when I have open flowers, or I deter from wetting the flowers with my fertilizer, because like if you notice, if you've like just spray fertilizer on a wand from your wand or whatever, and it gets on your flowers, then your flowers in the next couple of days, they start melting in my greenhouse. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on with this? And then I noticed it, and I talked with some other growers. And now I'm not really fertilizing as much, so my blooms are staying
Do you still fertilize?
much longer.
Do you fertilize in the winter season? And
I still, about once a month, just because plants, we still need to eat. Plants are still kind of growing because
that's what somebody told me. Plants gotta eat
Yeah.
all year round.
Yeah.
They don't take a break.
But also my greenhouse is heated, so I'm starting to get that 60, like that
Okay.
Hawaiian tropic kind of
Nice,
growth
yeah.
in the winter time. So I don't really get super cold to where everything's starting to go dormant. I still get dormancy, but I just cut back fertilizing and I cut back watering.
Okay.
So from 3 times a week to like once a week.
I have a
watering.
good question for you, because a lot of people have asked me this and I've noticed a difference myself. But before I ask you that, somebody asked which is the best fragrance Dendrobium. Hands down, anosmum.
I agree. Or Parishii.
Or Parishii.
I mean, they're both
Yes.
very close. They
Yeah.
both, Parishii's canes are a lot shorter. And
I have
anosmums
one
can,
here.
I mean, I've seen some anosmums
The
that are
Parishii
just
smell good.
gangbusters, like 10-foot long canes, like pendulous growing. But yeah, definitely hands down anosmum or Parishii. The noblies smell great. What else? Some in like the more densiflora section.
The one that has the red, oh my God, I have the name of it. Laz usually tells me the name because I always forget. It's the name of like a woman. It's that one right there that has a variegated leaf. It's called, and it has like a spot. It's white and it has like a spot. The spot is almost like a dark purple black. Not I keep thinking Colmarie, but that's a Colmarie. It's a Vanda.
Is it like a Phalananthe?
No.
Phalaenopsis
It's
dendrobium? Typed in? Is it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It's the name of a woman. He always says, "Oh, that's a," and when he says the name, it's like, "Oh, it's a female's name." But that one
But
smells really good.
It's a hybrid, not a species.
It's a hybrid, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it smells really, really good.
Um,
But the question was, I'm sorry, because I answered that best fragrance Dendrobium.
Yeah.
Question is, do you prefer growing Dendrobiums in a rocky medium like lava rock? Like I noticed mine do better in lava, but that's because I water a lot. So would you prefer lava rock versus like wood chip
It
or
it really depends on what section of Dendrobium we're talking about, because there's like over a dozen different sections of Dendrobium. You can lump a lot of them together in different cultures.
I'm thinking more like, because I know like anosmums and those, I love to hang those. I think they
Yeah.
do better hanging. But like the what is it, spectabile or
Spectabile,
spectabile?
which is a Latori type Dendrobium.
I'm soon gonna have to repot it.
Yes.
So I'm thinking about repotting it in more like a lava type of
I tend to grow those in a clay pot with bark.
with bark.
Yes.
Okay, like orchiata.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I use.
I prefer orchiata over the like any of the Douglas fir stuff like that, just because
Okay.
orchiata seems to not break down as fast. It's like that's like using the Chilean sphagnum or the New Zealand sphagnum.
I have the New
You can
Zealand
see
sphagnum, yeah.
a big difference. The Chilean breaks down a lot faster, whereas in the New Zealand you can get like 2 years, where the Chilean you have to repot. It breaks
All
down
my
too fast.
bulbophyllums are being put in sphagnum. My friend drops. Oh, I'm sorry, Nicole. Every time I'm going to read your stuff, it disappears.
Oh, I mean,
When
more.
do they bloom? What? The nusmums? I think this is now the time.
Springtime. Springtime.
Why are mine blooming? They didn't get the memo.
No. Probably because the cool drop in temperature.
Well, it
and
came
then,
from. It literally came from Hawaii,
oh.
and
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
already budding. But it's
that's not
it's
the
not your
typical
regular.
season.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's a Neifert something. Neifert.
I know. I talked with Jeremy about them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Jeremy from S&W Orchids in Hawaii is the one who has those, and mine are right now blooming, and it smells so delicious. Like you want to eat the flower. So I, hands down, anosmums are my favorite smelling dendrobiums.
Super fragrant. Super fragrant. And the only downside is that the flowers don't last really long.
A week max.
Yeah. Someone asked about chrysatoxum. So chrysatoxum is in the section densiflora. And so chrysatoxum does need a drier rest, like farmeri, chrysatoxum, densiflora, griffithianum, amabile, any of those that have the like kind of cane-like structure, but then they have a nice little, I call them like a little plume of
I love them.
spikes on them.
They look like pompons.
Yeah. And
Now-
so yeah, it does need a cooler, drier rest. But like I said, don't stop watering them.
You can see my dendrobiums from here.
Yeah.
The ones that have the long cane, how do you normally display? Because for me, like as you can see, sorry that you guys can't see it, but
The
I have
taller
to
canes?
hold them, with like little cables and things like that. Because sometimes when I do let them drop, they break. So I don't know if it's better to just let them drop, let them grow that way, or like the top ones, I ended up letting them drop and they seem to be doing fine. So cane dendrobiums, the ones that get very tall, I noticed the antlers are fine. They stay
Yeah.
like that. But then you have those that actually go.
Well, and a lot of your like hybrid mule-eared or phalananthe type dendrobiums, and also you have more of a unique growing situation here. They're growing out towards the sun, and then they're gonna naturally,
force themselves to
because
go that way.
they're gonna start to drop down as they get
Because
taller.
that has been a problem. I finally figured it out. I started just tying tie wraps, and now they don't break. But there was times that I would come back here and my cane was all bent and destroyed.
But yeah, chrysatoxum, and a lot of times some of these species are more difficult to grow than the hybrids. And so that's why you don't see them around too many times, is because they're really hard to take care of. And but chrysatoxum is one of those. It's a little bit more temperamental, a little bit more high maintenance, and compared to like something like farmeri or griffithianum or something like that.
We are thinking about it.
We were talking about that because, of course, we're in a unique situation
Wait,
right now.
let's say what it was, because probably
Yeah.
they don't even know what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, sorry. So Wanda, I think it was Wanda, said we should do this monthly, and we were just talking about doing this yesterday. Man, we need to do like a monthly because I can be in my greenhouse in Jacksonville while Nelson's out here, and we can like
Do a
have
split
examples
screen.
with split screen and do lives that way to where we can do education, or we can like start talking about very particular
Orchids.
orchids and culture or plants and stuff that way.
That would be good. I would like that because that way
Yeah.
because usually when my channel is like an all around type of thing, but it would be cool to just focus on once a month on something specific.
Yeah,
And then
dial it in.
Right, and then we'll see what the viewers want to hear.
Exactly. Someone also was asking about yellowing leaves on older pseudobulbs or older canes and stuff like that, and that's always normal. Your back bulbs aren't going to last forever, and so what happens when your leaves are starting to yellow is
Hi, PC.
you're getting that magnesium. So you've done a video on CalMag,
Yeah.
or you've talked about it before.
I talked about it. I love it.
And then
It's
so
a really
calcium is not transferable between pseudobulbs. So think of calcium just like our bones, right? It's a cellular structure, it's the building bones of those cells that makes up the growth. But magnesium is transferable from pseudobulb to pseudobulb, or cane to cane. And so when you see yellowing leaves on old back canes, I'm not talking about newer stuff, that's a whole different topic, that we could probably spend just a whole, an hour talking about that, where it's transferring magnesium. And then what happens also is
Mama has to feed the new baby.
yeah, it's going towards the newer growth. But also then what might happen is you might see like spots to start happening. And so when that magnesium is being drawn out of those leaves, it's a lot more susceptible to fungus and bacteria. And that's normal as well.
Okay.
You'll
Yeah,
see
I'm
that.
always taking yellow leaves. I don't leave any yellow leaves behind because I noticed that that's where the pests like to
Yep.
attach to. Hola, Nell. Hi, Marian. How are you? Thank you for joining
Hey,
us. I
Garnett.
noticed a lot of new people joining us.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot more people. I didn't even notice the count is up there.
Yeah.
There's 73 of you out there.
Nice.
That's cool. Hi, Sun Queen.
Hey.
I like that name. I thought I heard somebody.
I know.
I was like, we're the only two here. It's nice how it's already darkening, and we took out some extra lights, and Josh was like, no, we're probably overkill. And I go, you know what, let's just put them. So he put
And it
lights
worked
in the back.
perfect.
I put the ring light here.
I know I'm trying to take my shoulder because I got.
Oh, I see. You're covering it. I didn't notice. I think this live chat is a great idea. I'm learning so much from both of you. I'm still a beginner, and I have lots of concerns about my orchids. Well, don't be concerned, Nicole. Because this is how we all learned.
Yep. And like I'm not. You'll tell your story in a minute. I started off with Phalaenopsis. I've been growing almost 20 years. I started off with a Phalaenopsis, and I had no clue how to take care of it. And so my OCD kicked in, and I'm like, I got hyper fixated on.
Wait a minute, hold on. I gotta stop you right there. He says that when he started researching on his Phalaenopsis, which was his first orchid, also my first orchid, he started researching. When I started researching, there was none of this. It was this. So now I see how much younger you are for me.
Yeah.
But anyways, my Phalaenopsis was what started me completely into the whole world of orchids. Like once I learned how to keep one, that was it. I wanted to know more and more. And then Laz pushed me into that exotic world, and Redland Orchid Show was the very first show I went right here.
And you're very spoiled because it's like
It's right
5
there.
minutes down the road.
Yeah, it's very close. I could jog there.
Yeah. But yeah, I rebloomed my Phalaenopsis, And I'm like, okay, this is cool. So I branched out into an
You feel like a
oncidium.
master when that happens.
Well, you feel like I can conquer anything.
Give me any orchid.
I'm a professional now.
And then it happens to a lot of people. And then they go and they get a bulbophyllum or something that's like I have the monkey face here, and people
Yeah.
are like, how? And I go, well, it's in a specific spot. I keep it cool, and
Yeah.
it's about to bloom again.
It's
so
in its own microclimate.
in his own little
Yep.
microclimate. So
Yep.
you know, I always tell people, if you want to like defy the laws of physics and go for something that doesn't grow in your area, do it. Try it, because you might find a way to grow it in your area that somebody else hasn't, and you can share that with somebody else, and then you can grow other species or other hybrids that normally don't grow in your climate.
Yep.
You can figure out a way, because God knows that when I started here, I didn't start with all this. I started with just Phalaenopsis and Dendrobiums, and after 2 years of living here and having over 50 Phalaenopsis,
Yeah.
Laz was like, okay, enough with the fowls.
But yeah.
Yes,
it's-
PC, you're absolutely right. She says she doesn't find that fowls are as easy as people think they are. That is true.
Very true. Very
That is
true. But you know, I always tell everybody when they first start, learn the culture of the plant you have. Okay, because then once you like say you know the culture of Phalaenopsis,
Right.
then you can you know, venture out into oncidiums, which they have similar, but you just need to grow oncidiums a little bit brighter.
Mm-hmm.
Or like with Cattleyas, you can kind of lump a lot of the Cattleyas and hard cane Dendrobiums together. So
Absolutely,
once you
yeah.
learn like a few different cultures for different genera, you can start lumping other plants in there and say, because a lot of people will ask me, how do I grow these hard cane Dendrobiums? And I'm like, well, what do you grow? Do you grow Cattleyas? And they're like, yeah, I bloom Cattleyas great.
So
I'm
then
like,
you
grow
know.
it exactly like your Cattleyas. Grow it right next door beside them. And
And
people
keep
are
'em-
like, so you can clump culture and genera
Do you
together.
do that in your greenhouse? Do you put like what goes to, because that makes it easier for me. Like I try to keep things together.
Yes.
Like the bulbophyllums in one side.
Yeah.
So that way you keep the control of the. You've killed plenty of fowls. So have I. I've killed, I would say easily over 50, maybe
Oh,
even
yeah.
more throughout my life, and a lot more, and over 100 orchids. I'm sure,
Yeah.
because it's how we learn.
Yep. I lost around 30 of
30.
these.
Oh, well, Nuri's, I know why, because she had a really bad fungus infestation. I'm still killing Cattleya, so I still have a long way to go. Listen, I kill them. I still kill orchids. You know, it's
Yeah.
you're always going to have an orchid that maybe that's just it. It's done, and there's no turning back. And maybe it wasn't anything you did. You know, and
Yeah.
I'm still learning with that myself, because I feel guilty. I'm like, oh, what did I do? I tried everything, but
Some plants are just difficult to grow. Like I was saying, you know, some of the species, there's a reason why we hybridize, because some of the species are difficult to grow. And so we kind of use them for hybridizing to make them more like easier to grow.
right. They become stronger,
Like
bloom more.
Cattleya dowiana. Cattleya dowiana is a harder growing, from what I've read. I've got some in the greenhouse and they're growing great for me.
I don't know which one that is.
That's the one that they use. It's a yellow flower. It grows in Costa Rica, but it's got that big like sun-kissed labellum on it. That's what, when you see like an amazing lip with the sunset colors, it usually has a
maybe
lot of
I think I know
dowiana
what
in
you're
it.
talking about.
Yep.
Okay. Somebody had.
Hey
said
Jody,
something
how
there.
long,
Oh,
how
that's-
many years can a fowl live? Phalaenopsis can live many years, you know. But you all just have to remember that once it starts growing out of your pot and growing up, and then those roots start growing out, they're not acclimating to that pot anymore. So you're
They're just
constantly
free-rooted.
constantly having to repot them every couple years. So remember, that's really important. So if you have a Phalaenopsis that's growing out of the pot and all those roots are aerial roots, you're going to have a hard time putting those back into media to where it'll thrive again. I've been guilty of that, and then like it lags, or it ends up croaking because those roots just are not acclimated to any kind of media.
Yeah.
And speaking of media, you know, that's another thing that I teach people is learn how to, like with your culture and your watering techniques, say I want to only water Mondays and Fridays. I'm going to use a media specifically for that culture of plants, that if they need to retain more water, like
I do that.
bulbophyllums
Yeah,
and
I do that.
phalaenopsis and stuff, I'm going to use a more water retentive media compared to like growing it bare root where it dries out every day.
Right. Like how I have it on the quick tents.
So that way, then you don't have to say, okay, I have this one plant I have to water every 5 days. I have this other plant I have to water every day, and this other plant I have to water every 2 days. Use your media and your pots, because also clay pots absorb more
absorb, yeah.
water or wick more water away than plastic pots.
I like
Plastic
my
pots,
magic combo is clay pots with clay beads if I just want good
Yeah.
drainage and holding good moisture.
Yeah.
I keep my cattleyas that way. And
Yeah.
if I don't hang them, now I'm doing that, and my Heaven's Gate Christelle
Oh yeah.
over there, she's doing great in clay beads.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we are going into a full hour, so I don't know what we should do. Should we like cut it short? What do you guys want us to do? Or have you had enough of us? We're ready to cut it if you're ready to cut it.
Are there any more questions that we haven't gotten to as well?
Because there's 70 violacea. What about the violacea?
Which violacea?
The phalaenopsis?
Dendrobium, phalaenopsis, cattleya.
They probably meant phalaenopsis because that's usually, I killed that one.
I've got an amazing cattleya violacea. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's easier to keep that way.
Clump your cultures together.
Yeah, we will do this again. It's fun. This was fun.
It's super fun. And we can talk. I mean, I could go for another hour,
Yeah.
honestly.
I'm a chatterbox. So that's why when I looked at the time, I'm like, you know what? Let me start cutting it out. What's the lowest temperature that you subject your phals and dendrobiums to? Here in Miami, the lowest ever, like, thing is that cold weather here doesn't sustain that long. So if it does go to the lowest, it'll be like 38, 39, and it's like overnight, and then the next day it starts warming up. So we don't really hold, the coldest here would be 40, and it doesn't hold that long.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, I know it does a lot more.
Oh, yeah. I'm lucky to have a greenhouse where I can just turn the thermostat and leave the thermostat at 60, only because I have all kinds of plants in one greenhouse, and I have a small greenhouse. So all my foul dens stay about, I think the lowest it gets in there is 55. So it's it doesn't get
That's not
cold.
bad. Yeah, so
That's not cold at all.
Yeah, 55 here is our norm in South Miami
Yeah.
where I live. If it does get cold, that's probably what it's going to be, within the 50s.
And you have to remember also the foul dens are hard canes, just like your spatulata section.
Which can handle a little bit lower.
No, they need to stay. All your hard cane dendrobiums need to stay a little bit warmer. Otherwise,
okay.
if they get too
I'm
cold,
gonna start bringing mine in then.
if they get below 50, they'll start dropping leaves.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's why I drop leaves.
Yeah.
See what we learned? All right, guys. I think we're going to close it up here. We've gone already 63 minutes. That's a little bit over an hour. What was that noise?
Cat scratch fever.
Oh, cat sky. How do you care? Okay, this is the last one we're going to answer. How do you care for oncidium, orchids, fertilizer, etc.? Well, my oncidiums, I do like to put them in lava rock. Or on mounts. I've noticed that when you keep them in certain, here in Miami, when you keep them in like orchiata and things like that, they usually rot. And if it rains a lot, like the one I have in your thimble over there, that one, we had 3 days of rain, and even though it's in lava rock,
Yep.
one of the bulbs rotted. So oncidiums are not hard to keep, you know, if you just throw them on a tree.
Yeah.
Here in Miami, they do very well, or on a mount, they do very well. But if you're going to keep them in a pot, I don't know where your location is, be careful with being too moist because they do get root rot.
Yeah, they will. I've like Sherry Baby in particular, and some other of the like oncidiums I grow in my greenhouse, in my orchiata sponge rock charcoal mix. But
love charcoal.
I'm repotting them, you know, you don't want to let that media break down otherwise, because most oncidiums have the more finer,
Right, the little thin
hair-like
roots.
roots, and so they don't have a lot of that velamin that's
Right, to
covering the
hold
actual root to
exactly
hold
like
that water.
like the Vandas do.
So if they dry out, those roots are going to be obsolete, and so it's a really fine line with oncidiums. But I grow them like my phals, but a little bit brighter light.
All right, I think that's it. All right, guys, we're gonna close this live. It's 64 minutes in, actually 65 minutes exactly in. I hope you guys enjoyed our live. We are definitely, if you guys liked it, please leave comments below. There's gonna be, this video I guess stays up, right?
Yeah,
Like a
yeah,
regular
this will
video.
be posted to, should be posted to your YouTube. I know Facebook will be posted in my group, so you guys can watch it back. Feel free to make a comment on any other questions, as I'll be checking back with anything as well. And then we'll try to cross-post as well.
Hi, Linda. Sorry you got here late. Very instructive. Thank you, Nudies. I'm glad
Sure,
you enjoyed
guys.
it. Bye, PC.
Thanks, Jody. Thanks, Hosanna. Yes, Jody, 60s for spatulata. They can go down to 55, but I err on the side of keeping it warmer. So
You're welcome, Nicole.
all right, guys. If
right,
you have any questions, I know you can always just answer your comments.
I'll answer my comments, but you can go in there and answer the Dendrobium
Oh yeah,
questions.
yeah. I'll always chime in.
Because you'll be more what do you call it, informative than I would be on that end. All right, guys. So I will close it the way I normally close. I am Nelson.
I'm Joshua.
You have been watching Nature Nell, and remember to always, always keep it green. Now, how do I turn this off? Oh, I don't know. I guess right here.
Yep.